Welcome to the Home Building Hub, your essential podcast guide to building your new home. Hosted by industry experts Colin Bischoff and Darren Brennan, this conversational podcast will help better educate you about all things new home building so you can avoid costly mistakes and enjoy your building experience to the fullest, no matter which home builder you choose.
Hi there, folks. Welcome to the Home Building Hub. You are with Colin and co-host Darren Brennan, as always. And again, Darren, we're rocking a bit of hay fever today. We're also rocking a little bit of noise next door where I am. So if you hear drills and sawing and all that sort of stuff, I guess it's convenient that it's on a home building podcast, Darren. But so forgive any background noise, guys. We will do our best to get rid of some of it if it does come through. But anyway, Daz, how are you today, buddy?
Mate, going fantastic. I'm glad someone else is using a saw and not me, mate, because although my dad was a builder, I'm pretty crap on a saw. So, leave it to selling houses, educating people about houses, but building them, I'll leave that to our experts, and I'm not one of those. So, don't know about you, Cole. You any good on a saw?
Not really. My dad's a carpenter as well, actually. So I can do what I need, but no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be the first pick on the construction team. That's for sure. Yeah.
No, I'm with
Maybe
you,
the
mate.
planning part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's stick to that.
Yeah.
That's good, mate.
It's good. So today, everyone, we're going to talk about a really, I guess, helpful topic around what's the difference between a color appointment and choosing a predetermined color board. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of each, just to help you understand, okay, what path do I want to go down? Most builders these days, Darren, I think they offer option A or B. It's always been, I guess, historically, it has been you do a color appointment. But when you're buying, I guess a lot of people in the investment side of things that they find pallets a bit easier. So we'll just dive a little bit deeper into that sort of stuff. So what the differences are, and I guess clarify that some builders may offer only the appointment, but I think, Darren, some ranges that the builders offer will have a specific color palette where you don't have any other choice but choose a palette, things like that. So this will help give you some grounding, some understanding on how it works, and you can go off on your merry way and make your choice accordingly. So,
I think also,
Daz, do you want to
Cole,
kick us off? You go.
I was going to say some will also prefer you do colour boards because it's quick and easy, and to be fair, they look bloody good, and they'll charge you a fee if you want to do a colour appointment. So it just depends on the builder, really, doesn't it? And there's nothing wrong with either option. Just understanding what you're getting yourself into is always the key. So I'm happy to kick it off on colour selections, and that's going and doing an actual colour appointment. So I guess as a bit of an overview, it's a personalised session, right, with a design consultant. They're often interior designers, and they're there to help you select all the colours, finishes, and materials for both the inside and the outside of your home. And it can be a really exciting part of the building journey. So, I think a lot of people really enjoy doing it. As far as the process goes, historically, a colour appointment is usually completed after the drafting, so all your drawings are done, but before the contract's been signed. That's been the way it's often worked. But what we're seeing is a bit of a shift in the market. A lot of builders are getting the colours done after the contract's signed, and part of the reason for that is that you now know the cost that you've got associated with your build. A lot of people love a red pen, want to change the design, etc. That comes at costs. And then they get all those costs fixed so that they know what that amount is, and therefore there's no surprises coming later. And then they go to their colour selection. So they might say, I've got 400 grand to spend. I've spent 380 with my site works, my base house, the bits and pieces I've chosen already. And then we add that next bit in. You've got 20 grand to spend rather than going there thinking you've got 40 grand to spend, but you've only got 20. So it certainly helps in that respect. Ideally, you want to have and that's what we're talking about, having the final drawings, right? The final contract drawings in order to complete that appointment accurately so that they know if you've changed your kitchen cupboards, they're done. If you've, changed the area, the floor area can be calculated correctly so that we can get your flooring right, etc. Doing the colour selection after contract again comes as a post-contract variation, any of those additional costs. So, but the post-contract variation forms part of the contract. So there's no issues in that. The bank accepts a post-contract variation as part of the contract, and a lot of people don't realise that it's a post-contract variation, meaning it is part of the signed contract. You provide one document being the contract and the post-contract variation. The bank sees that as one. That is all part of your contract. So away you go. Some of the pros, the customization allows you to express your personal style, so you can make it look really amazing the way you want it. You're able to tailor, the selections to suit your taste. So you might want to go in and choose some really cool electrical appliances, upgraded electrical appliances in your kitchen, for example. You might want to do some other fancy stuff with lighting, etc. All this sort of stuff's all done at that appointment. There's a range of options. So again, you might choose a dark bench top in your kitchen or a light bench top. You get to choose your flooring, the colours on the facade, the bricks, render if you've got it, your roof colour. So you might have ColourBond roof. Choose the colour of that. You get to choose all your fascia and gutter, window colours. The list goes on, right? And then you might want to add some stuff. So you go to the colour selection studio and again, talk to your builder about what you can and can't add when you get there, because some will say you can do whatever you want. Others will say you're restricted back to these things. Generally, you can't be making structural changes when you're at the colour selection studio, right? So if you want to now go, actually, I've decided to extend my house by a metre, that's generally a no-go in that appointment. So make sure you've captured all those things up front, right? And if your consultant's saying, no, you can do all that later, double check, because I've seen that before as well, where they've been told one thing and they get there and there's another, thing going on there. So that's not allowed. Obviously, that professional guidance is really key. So someone's going to help make sure you don't bugger it up. Because if it was me doing your colours for you, good luck. These guys are trained professionals, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to look really, really sharp. Come on, Cole. It wouldn't bugger up too much, would I? Pretty crap, I reckon, if I was doing
Unless you're a
colours.
fan of a red door or something. But yeah, no, I'd probably get. I
Red
probably
and
wouldn't
black, mate.
choose
Red and
you.
black. It looked like my phone cover.
Oh no, I don't think I'd choose you to do my colours, Darren. No
Thank you,
offense.
Colin.
I'd,
Thank you,
I'd let
Colin.
you
You're
help pick the design side of things. Yeah,
pretty good at that,
colours,
you
no.
actually.
I, I mean, I couldn't think of anything worse for me personally picking colours, but
Yep.
I handball that part. But yes, please, yeah, please pick
Understand you're
the
dealing with
professional.
professionals, I guess, is the key, right? So
Yeah.
that's part of the key. Some of the cons, I guess, it's time consuming. Again,
Mm.
in my time at Metricon, if you're doing a double story, that generally want you to come in for 2 appointments, right? And that's one to do all your colours, because there's a lot to choose. You've generally got more bathrooms, etc., etc. So bigger areas to choose, and then come back in and do your electrical, heating, flooring as a separate on a separate day. So again, can be time consuming. Yes, it can increase the cost. If you go there and decide you want gold taps everywhere, gold taps cost a lot of money. And I'm talking real gold. So, yeah, those things can certainly add to that cost, right? So be aware that you're going to go more likely spend some more money. For some people, it can be stressful and overwhelming, right? And people find it really daunting. What I will say is, if you're finding it daunting, that's because you haven't done your homework. So I would generally suggest visit the colour studio, and most builders will allow you to do so, and go and do a tour. Maybe do 2 tours, right? And go in there with some ideas of what you're actually wanting. Get a bit of a scrapbook together of pictures and colours of the stuff that you like, and then let the colour consultant work with you through that. Generally, the guys will give you some options. They'll put together what they call a palette, and they'll help you visualize what they're going to look like. So they'll say, here's your bench top, here's your cupboards, here's the floor, here's the wall color, and they'll show you how it's all going to come together, right? And they'll help you through that. So, hopefully at the end of that appointment, you walk away with some samples, and you've got a fair idea what your house is going to look like. It really is difficult, right? And there's no real tools just yet that'll let you do all that color selection and show you what it looks like. There's some of that stuff coming, and some of that stuff will be fantastic when it's available, that you'll be able to punch in all the different colors and then say, that's what my house is going to look like. But it's not as readily available as being able to do it on the spot, I guess. So there'll be some who can give you that afterwards, and it might take a week for it to come out and it's all done for you. But again, don't expect that from most builders, right? So it will help in the long run when that's available. But right now, you'll get little samples, and I wish I could pull one out. I usually have some of that stuff sitting around here, Cole, but I must have thrown them all out. But they'll only be small, about a credit card size usually, or slightly bigger, like what you see the paint swatches when you go to Bunnings. What else is there? Obviously, who's the best suited to? It's best suited to those people who are going to live in the house. If it's going to be your place and you want to personalise it, get in and do your colour selection. The other bit, again, to be aware with colour selections is you can't bring half your family, right? You can't show up and say, I'd like to bring 15 people. I want advisors for every different room. Generally, that's not allowed, right? It's normally the people that are on the contract. Ideally, don't bring your kids, because you're going to get distracted. It's going to prolong the appointment. You're going to get frustrated at times because of all that, and then you're going to be asked to be making decisions fairly promptly. So generally they're trying to get it done in a day. If it's a single story home, all those choices on the day, ready to go, because it's not endless the amount of time you've got to be able to do that. Most builders, you won't walk away with a cost on the day. They might come back to you the next day or the day after that, after they've had all those items priced up for you. And then you'll know, great, I've gone in there, I've spent 5,000, I've spent 10 grand. Some people might spend 200 grand, right? Again, that's the outlier at 200 grand. But again, know that some people will, depending on the size of the home and what they're doing. But it's a really cool part of the process. It certainly personalizes it to your home, and it's something that I find most people enjoy and find it really fun. So that's that bit. Tell us about predetermined color palettes, Cole.
Yep. So one tip for people going to an appointment that I was told, because we've had the privilege, Darren, of working with many color consultants over the years, and
Absolutely.
these people are superstars. Like, they really are so passionate about what they do. So they they really can be helped if you come prepared and you have a theme and some inspiration that you bring along, because that helps them work out, okay, are we doing dark flooring or light flooring? Because if you start with dark flooring and then they plan the entire palette around that, and then you think 3 hours later, I'm going to do light flooring now, that can blow up the whole thing. Okay, so you've got to have a really good understanding. Okay, here's my theme, and give them that theme, and they can help you, with your selections, choose the right ones and guide you down the right path. I just know from experience, one of the consultants told me once, when people do that flip from light to dark, then they actually have to change everything else because it doesn't fit. So try and, like Darren said, do your homework on that.
And I was talking to one of my consultants, Cole, just this week, and she was saying that she asked that they go in and do 3 tours. So they're really well prepared. And when they go to their colour selection, they fly through it. Yeah. So again, that preparation is absolute key.
Yep. So moving to colour boards, colour palettes, whatever you want to call them, predetermined, something that can be really helpful if you're not just not a colours person like myself. There's a lot of us out there who just don't really have much connection or emotive connection to the colours. Can be helpful for those sorts of people. But essentially, what we're talking about, internal and external palettes, they're pre-prepared, and there's like a light, a dark, and somewhere in the middle could be. There's just different options and themes prepared. The spec sheets are prepared, as in the detail of every finish is already done up front for you to choose from. Most of the time, these palettes are picked off renders, Darren. So they're like 3D renders, which are not always accurate. They're close, but they're not accurate. It's a bit hard to get them exactly the same. But they also do have like, what do they call them? Flat lays, I think, like a layout of the tile or the timber and the this and the that and the carpet and the whatever all together with the paint colors and wall colors and this and that. So it helps you visualize, okay, that's roughly the theme I'm happy with. So that's what it is. I think most people probably understand what it is in terms of a a color board. The pros of doing that as instead of a color appointment would be simplicity. It just reduces decision fatigue. It offers a streamlined, I guess, process that's already done by experts, people who know what they're doing. It's affordable in the sense of most color palettes are included. Some are an increase in price because they've got additional upgraded fixture features on them. But realistically, it means that you're not going into the color studio and you're not spending above your budget on things because they're right there and they're quite enticing. Okay, so a color board selection can help you stay in line and stay on budget, which is helpful. Obviously, it's efficient. Fewer decisions are needed because you're like, that's my internal, that's my external. Let's move on and get our contract signed. Thank you very much. So that's helpful. Generally, they're on trend. Like they've been designed by people who know what they're doing. So saves you sort of stressing about that. We do see a lot of people who go through appointments having what I call, I guess, selection remorse. I wish I had picked that carpet or whatever. And you don't really get to see it until you move in. And then, I guess we do a lot of handovers and we hear those comments a lot, Darren, like, I like it, but I wish I had picked that other one. They turn to their husband and they say, well, why didn't you tell me to pick this one or whatever? So there's so many choices. So this is for those people who just don't want to have that on their plate.
Yeah.
But in fairness and respect to most people, you want to go through a colour appointment because it's your home, etc. The cons, I guess, with colour boards, there's less flexibility. You can't change them all. Some builders will let you take one colour out, pop one colour in. We've done that recently with an external palette, Darren, where the client said, look, I like that palette, but can you just make that colour change like this, which is really an easy fix for us. That's okay. Risk of similarity, I suppose, being that it's not your own personally preferred choice, and some other people have got it. So they're probably the main cons, and you don't get to pick it all yourself. That's a con for some and a pro for some. So that depends on you. I guess why should you be, or who should be selecting color palettes? This is an interesting one, Darren. I think, and we've said this a number of times, all investors. So if you are not going to live in the house that you are building, you should not be, and some people won't agree with me on this, you should not be attending a colour appointment. You do not need to get in the way of that process. There are boards there, just pick one and move on. It doesn't matter. You're not going to live in the thing. The rent is not going to increase that you're going to get, or the sale, but if you're going to flip it, you're not going to get more money because you picked a different wall color or a different type of, standard flooring. That upgrade stuff, fair enough. If someone went to porcelain tiles, that could have more appeal, but it would also have more cost. But yeah, so that's one thing we see all the time. Don't be emotionally connected if you're an investor to your color boards. Like, just pick them and move on. The quicker you get to your contract, the quicker you get to site, the quicker you get your house complete, is better for your bottom line, and that's what should matter. That's my personal opinion, Darren. I just think that budget conscious people, as in those who are tight on budget, because everyone is budget conscious in one way, shape, or form, they should also consider a palette because it gets things moving quicker. And as I said before, it's less likely to if they're sitting in an appointment, have them be enticed by the things on the wall that may cost a little bit more. Okay, so that's the colour board side of things. And what we might do, Darren, is to wrap it up, we'll go to what's our advice for everyone on which option you should choose. So do you want to kick that one off, Daz?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you just touched on the first one, Cole, already. But, if you're building an investment property, 100% go for a colour palette. There's no good that comes out of, chopping and changing a couple of simple colours just for the sake of it and costing time, costing more money potentially. As you said, doesn't mean that, a tenant's going to pay any more if you're flipping the property. Again, experts have designed these colour boards, so stick to the colour board and run with it that way. So I think that's the first one.
Yep.
Number two, Cole?
Yeah. Number two, so this is the people who can go either way. So it might be a first-time buyer, budget-conscious buyer that we mentioned before. By all means, go and have a colour appointment. It's not a bad thing. It's quite a good thing, enjoyable thing. But understand that I think by definition, if you're not going to live in that house, or if you're going to live in it and it's not your be-all house, end-all house, it's one that you're stepping stone, consider doing color palettes, because you don't need to spend the extra money, and they've been picked by professionals.
Yep. I think if you are budget conscious, review your hand when you get there to the colour appointment. I've seen people go to a colour appointment and actually pick a 100% standard from the builder's range all the way through and not spend a single cent. But I've also seen people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, it really depends on who you are. But if you're on a budget, no point spending hundreds of thousands of dollars and then being disappointed when you're having to take all this stuff out and reselect. That's the bit you want to try and avoid, I guess, is the reselection of stuff.
And
for the rest of you
Daz,
guys out there,
sorry, Daz, the one I didn't mention is, like, some people out there are not colours people. So for you, you know who you are. Just pick a board. That's the safest thing. My best mate, colourblind, doesn't care about colours. Like, even his house he's built in, like, he's colourblind. Like,
send a colourblind guy to a colour appointment.
Yeah, that's right. And some people are, Darren. So, like, he's like, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. You just pick them. He said to the consultant, I don't care. I want to say, you just pick them, whatever. And if you can be that honest with yourself, you probably have a better outcome, but some people just get too connected with a wall color, a tile color, or whatever it is.
We
not for everyone.
Over the years have built homes for land developers, and they're only doing it to build a house on that block so they can sell it. And they will literally say to us, you pick whatever's the best color. You pick what's going to suit that facade, what's going to suit that house the best. And leave it up to us. We just talk to the color consultants and they go, choose that internal and that external color and it's going to look amazing. And it always does. They look fantastic. So nothing at all wrong with a color board. For the rest of you, though, if you want to go through that process and enjoy the process of color selection, I guess the advice here is do your homework. Don't just show up on a day and expect that you can, not be overwhelmed. Everyone gets overwhelmed without that homework. So, because there's a lot to choose and you're on pretty strict time constraints. So make sure you do your homework. Again, if you booked an appointment, understand that builder's dedicating a person to you for that whole day. So please show up. Because often, again, we get people not showing up saying, I couldn't make it today, but I'll come tomorrow, mate. You might not. They might be booked out for the next month and a half. Could be 2 months, 3 months if the market's busy, right? So understand that, that spot's locked in for you and have a lot of respect around that. And I guess when you do that and this is your, castle, so to speak, your number one home, then you're going to be super proud of the colours and stuff that are in there. You're going to be able to tailor it to suit the furniture and stuff like that you've already got. And it's going to be a great feeling when you invite your friends around and celebrate living in that home. So, either way, you're going to be in great hands with dedicated people who are able to really assist you the whole way through.
Yep. Good. Nice.
Cool,
well, hopefully, guys, that's helped you choose the right path for your home, whichever one it is. There's no right or wrong, really, Darren. It's just giving you guys all the information so you can make the right choice for you. If you like what you hear, please jump on the homebuildinghub.com.au. Leave us some feedback, put some questions in there. Jump on the platform you're on. Please give us a 5-star review. We'd love that. And other than that, Daz, we'll see you guys on the next one.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, guys. And just our disclaimer, whilst we're all about providing value to you, this podcast should not be considered as legal or financial advice. It contains general information only, and you should seek out independent professional advice on your personal situation before making any legal or financial decisions.
1, 2,